That movie is a shit show. What you think you see, what you think you hear, that's what it's about. It's all the theater of the mind. No, it's garbage. It's garbage. Mood and atmosphere. Now that I really like. That's what I'm looking for. That's what I want to see. Hey, what's going on, everybody? What's happening? What's shaking? What's doing? Hope you guys are doing well. I thought I would jump on here on this Monday, May the 23rd, 2022, 1:03 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. My name is Dave McRae, coming to you live from the VoiceMann Studios in Toronto, Canada. It's an all Q&A this afternoon. Let's hang out and let's have a discussion. Let's talk. Whatever you want to talk about, let's do it. Let's have a discussion. Let's, whatever questions you have, bring your questions. I will do my best to give you some answers and maybe steer you in the right direction or give you some food for thought to think about or something like that. That's what I want to do on the show today. It is a little impromptu. By the way, there is no Two Dudes and Some Bullshit tonight, and there will be no Two Dudes and Some Bullshit next week. Tony and I will be back in June. We'll be back in June. June. We'll be back in June. But I had some time this afternoon to jump on and just kind of say, hey, what's going on? What's happening? And let's make it an all Q&A. So without further ado, let's open it up to you in the chat room and whatever you guys want to talk about. So here we go. Oh, hey, Nick Jean. I think that's it. I don't have my glasses. Where are my glasses? I think I'm saying that right now. Nick, anyway, I know that's Nick Jean. I think that is. $1.99. Just a shout out. Love you, Dave. Well, thank you very much, man. I really appreciate that. Really appreciate that. It's you guys. You guys are the blood. You guys are, I might be the engine. But you guys are the oil. You guys are the fuel that keep it going. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying. Mike Johnson. Good afternoon, Dave. Good afternoon, Mike. Good afternoon, everybody. There's Chester Franklin Jr. Robert Thinoff comes in and says, Dave, was there a movie as a kid that freaked you out, but as an adult, you were like, no big deal? Mine was Children of the Corn. Freaked me out as a kid. I don't know. I can't think of any. Freaked me out? I don't think so. No, I don't think so. I was always very much into horror movies and, as we all were, as kids, but I don't think there was anything that really freaked me out to the point where I couldn't watch it. But now as an adult, it's not a big deal. Not off the top of my head anyway. That's a good question, though. That's a good question. Red Foreman says, hey, everyone, just changed jobs, and I'm able to participate in real time. Looking forward to being a part of the group of regulars. Well, that's awesome. Welcome, Red. Great to have you here, my man. I don't normally do shows I used to, and then I got a bit of burnout, and I needed to kind of restructure a few things. But ordinarily, I have on Monday nights at 6 p.m. Eastern is usually Two Dudes and Some Bullshit with Tony Michael. But unfortunately, tonight, there's no show, and next week, there's no show either. So, but like I said, we'll be back in June. So I thought, hey, I have a little bit of time this afternoon. Let's jump on and fucking talk. Let's talk, baby. Let's do it. Kevin Fishgall sends in $5. Thank you, Kevin. Says, Deborah Hill didn't wear the Shape outfit on screen, but, oh God, here we go. But Dave. Yeah, oh my God, this is so funny. And I get that you guys only get to see one side of it because you only see my posts, right? You don't see the messages I get. And like I have often said, the vast majority of messages I will get are very positive, very good, right? But you know how there's like a group, like there's always a group of people that they're small, but they're very loud, or they're small, but they're in the minority, but they're very loud and they're kind of always there. That can be Halloween fans, when they disagree, right? So you know, like I said in the video the other day, when that bit of new information came up about Deborah Hill, Nick Castle, Shape of the Distance, all that kind of stuff, I thought it was kind of cool. I like legit, I'm like you guys, I don't care either way, but I just thought it was cool information. So I'm like, hey, I'm going to share that, you know, and I shared it, and well, oh my God, if I had known, I probably wouldn't have bothered to share it. Do you know what I mean? But I received probably about at least 8 or 9 messages from people through my Many Things Facebook page. And of course, you know, you get some people who are in the Postal, but usually it's when they send it to me privately because nobody else can see it but me, right? You don't know what you're talking about. Holy crap. That's Deborah Hill. That's all. Fuck, I don't give a shit what Sean says. Fuck Sean. This, that. I'm just like, what the hell? Pissed in your cornflow. What the hell's going on here? You know what I mean? Oh my God. It's crazy. Halloween fans can be crazy. Anyways, so I had a text conversation with Sean back and forth, and Sean had said that I don't know when he's going to do it, but he said, I'm paraphrasing, but he said, you know what? At some point, I'll do a video with Nick. That should put it to bed, right? I'll do a video with Nick so you can hear Nick saying, yeah, that's me, you know, essentially. And that will put it to bed. So I said, great. So I shared that information today. Hey, just to let you know that, you know, because when Nick said, you know, well, I don't care what it is. He's a 70-something-year-old man. And I'm just thinking, oh my God. I just thought this was cool, man. Don't shoot the messenger. Don't shoot the messenger, man. You know, but really at the end of the day, what it comes down to, and I agree with all of you, it's not a big deal. No, it isn't a big deal. That's why I don't understand why some fans are making it a big deal. See, I think some people think because you only see my posts, you think I'm making a big deal of it, but I'm just responding, right? So I'm not going to bother responding to, you know, 8 different diatribes on how I'm wrong and how I'm such a moron. I'm just going to make a post if I have new information so everybody can see it, including those people, right? Because it's much easier to do that than it is to take, I'm not going to bother responding to all that. Are you crazy? But you guys only see that, right? So it looks like that I'm like obsessed with it or something. And that's not the case. I just think it's kind of cool, right? Hey, that's kind of cool. Wow, we have new information. Thought it was this. Oh, it's actually this. That's kind of cool. Anyway, well, not for some fans, boy. Look out. But like I said, and like some of you have said too, it really comes down to fans just being so emotionally attached to one thing that when it turns out to be another, they just can't let it go. No. Like they'll find every excuse to hold on to that. And because I think some fans feeling like, you know, Halloween history is being rewritten, when in reality, it's just being corrected. It's not being, it was never that to begin with. Don't we all want to know the truth? The real truth, you know? Anyway, it's crazy, man. Halloween fans are crazy. They are. Halloween fans, I mean, listen, Cody Leach will tell you that. Cody Leach will tell you, oh, fuck. Holy shit. Like, you know, you want to know why Cody doesn't talk Halloween a lot? I mean, I don't want to speak for him, but I'm just saying, you want to know why he doesn't? Halloween fans can be crazy. Crazy. Anyway, I thought it was cool. So let's go back and check some of your messaging. Kevin Fishgall, I got that one. Yep. But Dave, Good Reel Hunting. Hey, what's going on, Good Reel? Says, keep up the great work, Dave. Close to 1 year of the best fan film to be released. It's me, Billy. Aw, thanks so much, man. I really appreciate you saying that. Yeah, it is coming up to a year. It's coming up to 1 year. May 28th will be 1 year. And we don't have... My apologies for how long it's taken to get some of these perks out, but some of our vendors have been delayed because of COVID and everything. We're now just starting to get like the remaining posters in and the toques and all that kind of stuff. The toques, you can tell I'm Canadian, winter hats. So those are sort of the last things that need to go out, and then we're finally all done. It's been such a shit show. There's been like, our vendors have been like, out of stock, can't print, do this. Like they're finally. So we appreciate your patience very much. But like I said, about 95% are all out, but there's just those little remaining stragglers that haven't gone out yet that were like, oh, come on, we want to get those out. We want to get this out. You know what I mean? So if you haven't received your poster yet, don't worry. It's coming. It's coming. And your winter hat. It's coming. It's coming. Let me see. And thank you, Good Reel, for saying that. I appreciate that very much. Jose Reyes sends in $1.99 and says, Dave, are you going to watch Review Men 2022? Well, I won't review Men. Again, I don't do formal reviews on the channel, like in the traditional sense of like what Cody does or Lee or whatever. Probably not. I haven't seen it. I won't go to the theater to see it. I'm not interested enough to go to the theater to see it. I'll probably wait till it comes to streaming. And I might do like a community post or a Facebook post or something like that. But unless I really love it, like if I watch it and I'm like, what? Like it's got to be like, what? Hey, but then again, even then I might not, right? I watched The Ritual, the 2017 film, for the first time a few months ago. And I love that movie. And I didn't jump on and do a whole thing on it. So I don't know. I'm not sure. I've heard mixed reviews on it though. The Slaughtered Lamb Movie Podcast sends in £5. Thank you very much, Slaughtered Lamb. Says, for the channel, and Deborah Hill stood outside the wall. I love it. That's great. Oh, Darren, you little scallywag. No, anyway, thank you, Darren. I appreciate that very much. Don't get those people started, man. Don't get those people started. I've shown a few of the messages I've received to Frank and Darren, and they're like, what the hell? It's crazy. I showed one of them to Sean too, and he was like, holy Jesus, like what? It's just, you think you're doing good. You're like, hey guys, isn't this cool? Ah! And it's like, oh, okay, it's not cool. Okay, I'm sorry. I just thought it was cool. All right, fine. Holy jeez. Ah. Again, that's not all of you, by the way, right? I mean, like 90% of fans are great, but you just get those few that are like, woo, look out. Goar. Oh, yeah. How do I say this again? Zigo. Riscate for RZ. I always used to spell it out, but I think there's a way of saying it. Anyway, you 45 sends in $4.99. Thank you, buddy. He says, hey Dave, you gonna review movie even though you've made it very clear you're not a movie channel? Jesus. Oh, that's okay though. Hey, listen. Some people don't. Some people are new, right? Some people have just subscribed to me. Very recently, right? And when you look at my channel and the things that I cover, it can be very easy to lump me in with a movie review channel because I talk about movies. I talk about Halloween. I talk about, movies I like, movies I don't like. So I never get upset, if somebody roll my eyes. And I'm like, okay. I mean, if the same person were to ask me that all the time, I might be like, I've said this already like 10 times to you, but if somebody asks me, it's completely understandable. So I appreciate the super chat, of course, but it's okay. I don't mind. Let me see. Nick Jean says, excitement for Top Gun Maverick from you, Dave. Well, here's the thing. I like the first Top Gun, right? It's an 80s staple, sort of the movie that really put Tom Cruise on the map. I mean, of course, you have Risky Business before that, but this was the movie that kind of sealed the deal for him. And I think it was at, 86 or something like that. Good movie, good 80s fun kind of movie. Very 80s. I've heard nothing but praise for Top Gun Maverick. Like, I've heard nothing but stellar universal acclaim for this movie. So, I'd like to see it, if anything, just for the spectacle. But will I go to the theater to see it? I don't know. I'm not sure. Am I excited for it? I mean, I've seen the first one. I was never a huge Top Gun fan, right? So I can't say that I'm excited for it or that I'm like super pumped and jazzed about it. I'm just kind of like, oh yeah, yeah. I mean, there's other movies I'd probably go see over it, but it's the kind of movie, again, that it's a cinematic experience, you know, that you should probably see in IMAX, right? Because of all the, you know, the flying and the jets and all that kind of, it would be, you know, be a lot of fun. So, I don't know. Yeah, you know, we'll see. We'll see. Dude says, hey Dave, here's my question. Okay. Would you be willing to read a sequel to Dream Warrior set in present day? Screenplay I've written sometime this summer. It's copyrighted, by the way. Thanks. Unfortunately, no, dude. And it's not personal to you. It's just that I just don't have the time. And the second I say that I'm doing that, then the floodgates open. Because it happened to me about 4 years ago. I naively said yes. And then I suddenly got very busy. And I was taking a long time, and this person was very upset that I was taking a long time. And then I started to get other messages from people because they had found out that I had done that. And so it's just, I just can't do that. The best way to get screenplay feedback, I've often said, is to enter your, to get some feedback by, people that you trust. But also there are screenwriting contests out there too that you can enter your screenplay in, and it can be judged and reviewed by screenwriters, and there's, you know, prizes and who knows what could come from that. So, you know, that's, you know, you get feedback from people that do this. So that's an option. I don't know where there's one right now that's happening, but if you do a Google search of screenwriting competitions, screenwriting, you know, whatever, it might pop up. But no, I'll have to take a pass on that for now. But it's nothing personal, though. It's nothing personal. But I wish you the best of luck with it. Sonny M. Where are we here? Sonny M. sends in $4.99, says, are you a fan of the original Sleepaway Camp? Yeah, I don't mind it. I have to be honest with you. I've only seen the first Sleepaway Camp. I haven't seen any of the others. I don't mind it. Like let's put it this way. I would rather watch Sleepaway Camp than watch Terror Train. I don't like Terror Train. I think it's a snooze fest. And Sleepaway Camp, I put kind of on the same level as kind of 80s cheese, you know? There's a lot of those types of movies. I don't mind it. I've watched it a few times. It's okay. It's not one of my favorites. But it's okay. You know, I mean, if it wasn't for that ending, it probably would just fall into obscurity and nobody would care about it. It's the ending that really kind of, you know, seals the deal with that, right? It's okay. It's all right. It's not one of my favorites, though. Let me see here. Happy Sanjo sends in $5, says, much love to you. And like I said in the community post, just caught me off guard this morning. I misunderstood it. I'm not a huge Halloween fan. Oh, that's okay. That's okay, man. Sometimes it's hard to decipher tone and intention in text. You know what I mean? I mean, that's why we as a species do you know how many relationships have probably broken up over a misunderstanding of text and tone? I mean, I think that's why we as a species have begun to add, like, you know, wink emojis or laugh out loud, even when it's not funny, even when what you're saying isn't funny. How many of us here have written a text, right? Or an email or a message or whatever, and we'll put LOL at the end just to let the person know, or people know, that we're not being serious, or we're just being coy, or you know, we're being cheeky or whatever, because the way it's written without the LOL sounds kind of very serious. So you kind of put an LOL, or you put like a little wink, or, you know, to let somebody know that, hey, I'm just having fun. I mean, we do that, don't we? And sometimes we feel we have to do that, or somebody's going to take you literally, because everybody takes so many things at face value, and you can misunderstand tone because you could read it one way and somebody else could read it another. And, you know, if I wrote something like, I don't like Halloween 5. I just wrote that, right? I don't like Halloween 5. Well, somebody could, you know, interpret that as, I don't like Halloween 5, you know, and then somebody else could interpret it as, I don't like Halloween 5. Do you know what I mean? You know, so unless you don't kind of, you know, massage the sentence a little bit and try to figure out how to make people understand that you're not, people can read into stuff. So No worries, my man. No worries. I just, Sean had told me the other day in text that he was planning on doing a video. I don't know when, or, I mean, this whole thing is not a big deal. I just thought it was cool new information, right? But he said, look, at some point I'll do a video with Nick and that should put it to bed. And I was like, oh, that's cool. So I'll just let people know, hey, you know what? Expect it. Sometime you're going to get this, whatever. And so if you think that, you might want to, that kind of thing, right? And nope. Still got a few messages from people. He's old. What the fuck does Nick know? Okay. All right. Okay. Right. Okay. No worries, my man. No worries. ZG. I say Zed. You can tell I'm Canadian. Z-Go RZ Skate 45 $4.99 says, also a limited run of It's Me, Billy on Blu-ray would be a great completion of all your Halloween fan film on Blu-ray with no copyright material would rule. Oh yeah, Halloween. I would never put my Halloween fan film stuff on Blu-ray. I wouldn't do that. I mean, the Halloween, I really love that people love those little Halloween shorts that I've done, going even way back to like 2009. Like I was one of the first. I'm not saying I'm the first. I'm not the first, but I was one of the first people to start doing that online. And because I think my very first was 2009, YouTube wasn't very old then. And I would just grab my camcorder and use available lighting and dress up as Michael Myers and put my little camera around the house and just, it was fun. It was fun, right? And I'm flattered that people really like that kind of stuff. And they like the one I did with Bruce, of course, in that apartment building. And, I really appreciate it. But they're very, I would never showcase that in a portfolio. I mean, maybe there might be little clips from them, maybe. I mean, that was one of the reasons why we set out to do Billy, right? Was because we wanted to make a professional film, a low budget, real independent short film. So we could have something of professional quality to be able to showcase and say, hey, here's what we can do with this. Now imagine what we could do with this, or, whatever the case is, right? And we're not done, right? I mean, we would like to finish the story of Billy, of course. I mean, that, we would like to do that. The story is incomplete, of course, right? We ended it on a cliffhanger. The arcs are not complete, all that kind of stuff. So there is more to be told, which we would love to complete. Billy is just sort of the first half of a two-part thing. But yeah, the Halloween stuff I wouldn't put on a Blu-ray. They're online for everybody to enjoy if they want, and a limited run of It's Me, Billy on Blu-ray, maybe not at the moment. I mean, maybe that's something we do for like, if, we run a Indiegogo campaign again for Billy 2 or something, like maybe something like that. But as of right now, not at the moment, but yeah, but I do have some leftovers that I might, use as a giveaway here or there, or, I might put one or two up for sale at some point or whatever. I mean, I do have a few extras, not a lot. I don't have like, boxes and boxes full, but I have a few extras, I have maybe more than a few, that I might put up at some point for different reasons. So, we'll see, but I appreciate the enthusiasm, man, and support. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Stony Hendrix, is that how Hendrix? It's kind of a HNDRXX Hendrix. Is that how I'm supposed to say that? Finally caught you live on an off day. It was meant to be, man. It was meant to be. It was meant to be. It was meant to be. Okay, did I get all the super chats? Hang on. Oh. Nope, I did not. Oh, nope, there's a few of them there. Sorry. Okay, got that one. Going down. Mendel Goodman sends in $5, says, how important and what goes into the naming of the character? For example, Michael Myers. How important and what goes into the naming of the character? How important is it? Okay, I think what you're asking is how important is the name of a character and what goes into figuring out what the name of that character is? there's no hard set rule. I mean, you know, sometimes characters are, I mean, Michael Myers is named after John Carpenter's distributor who helped distribute Assault on Precinct 13 overseas. I think it was overseas. And the name of the distributor, his name was Michael Myers. So in honor of, because I think he was having trouble getting Assault on Precinct 13 sort of distributed here in North America. At least there wasn't a lot of, you know, there wasn't the same interest. And so a guy by the name of Michael Myers took a risk, and John Carpenter, to kind of pay, you know, kind of a thank you to him, named the character of, you know, this little kid in Halloween after him, Michael Myers. I think that's it. If I'm remembering correctly, I believe that is the story. So, you know, there was really no you know, symbolic or cool reason, or, you know, I mean, characters are like, unless they're biblical characters or they're based on true stories, right? Where you know, you're using an actual, you know, a biopic or whatever. Characters can be whoever you want, right? They can be, there's a number of reasons why a writer may name somebody after, you know, name a character a certain name, right? It could just be, yeah, like what John Carpenter did, or maybe they're naming it after their mom, or, you know. So it all depends. It all depends. Sometimes when you're writing, and as you're writing, you will naturally have an image of that character in your mind, and you will picture a character in your head with how they look. And sometimes a name will just come to you, you know, and it's like, yeah, that person looks like a TJ, or that person looks like a Jennifer, you know, or that person looks like a you know, a Steve, or, you know, whatever, right? Sometimes there's just, people have just certain looks to them, you know? Like when it came to doing the casting of Billy, not so much with Sam and Justine, but I remember with Emma, the person that was just in my head, this, you know, blonde sort of petite girl, I just was like, Emma. It was in my head, Emma. It was like, Emma, yeah, that makes sense. It feels that. And I could never escape it. We had other things like Lindsay and you know, Lisa, and, you know, but for whatever reason, I just we kept coming back to Emma. You know? And sometimes, again, it's just a feel. You imagine sort of a look in your head and the name follows. There's a variety of reasons why characters can be named certain names. So I think that's what you're asking, if I'm not mistaken. ZC or ZC, because I'm Canadian. Kroll sends in $5, says, hey Dave, I'm assuming slashers are your favorite horror subgenre for obvious reasons, but what would be your next favorite horror subgenre? Well, great question. And I would say when I was younger, when I was a kid, a young boy growing up through the 1980s, I would say yes, my favorite horror subgenre was slasher, because I was into Friday the 13th, I was into Halloween, I was into A Nightmare on Elm Street, you know, I even liked the first few Child's Play movies and Hellraiser. But as I've gotten older, I'll be 43 tomorrow, and for the last number of years, I would say that slashers are not my favorites. It's not my favorite sub. I still like a good slasher movie. And my favorite horror movie of all time is Halloween. And if I was to do a top 10 favorite horror movies of all time, there would be a number of slasher films in there, but they would be mostly films from my childhood, right? Like the first Elm Street, first Halloween, Black Christmas, you know, things like that. But I would say as I've gotten older, and certainly over the last maybe 10 to 15 years, I've much more gravitated towards the psychological horror films, because I find I'm a theater of the mind kind of guy. And I don't particularly, slashers can be fun to watch, but I don't particularly find them scary. You know, like Terrifier wasn't scary to me. No offense to the people that made it. I mean, you know, hey, it's an independent film. It takes a lot to make a movie, right? I just mean that I didn't find it scary. It was just gory, you know? And as I've gotten older, I've changed. My tastes have changed, and I want to be scared. I want to feel like, ooh, that's creepy. And nothing does that better than psychological horror, theater of the mind, you know, getting in here. Now, having said that, I quite like the first Insidious. But the first Insidious, although not a slasher movie, it's a supernatural demon film. James Wan, I find, is very good at delivering sort of that balance. You know, it's not a elevated horror per se, but it's got that slow burn. It's got a bit of that, you know, dangling the carrot, not showing too much too soon, theater of the mind-ish kind of approach. The first Conjuring was like that. You know, he's very good like that. He's a populist, like he's a studio filmmaker. And a lot of the times you'll get great horror movies that you've never heard of or that are independent films from foreign countries. When it comes to the Hollywood studio system, you don't generally get a lot of those because, you know, well, there's a variety of reasons why, but I do find that James Wan, although I haven't liked everything he's done, I do find that in terms of like popular studio releases, he's probably one of the better horror directors we have in appeasing somebody like me, you know, where he can deliver the goods in terms of, you know, show you the action and show you the, you know, but the journey to that destination, like the journey in Insidious, I thought was really well done. And the journey in The Conjuring, the first one, I thought was really well done, you know, and I really like that. I even liked the fucking one he just did. The, what the hell was the one he just did? God, why am I drawing a blank here? James Wan. Malignant, that's it. Malignant. I even liked Malignant. Now, I didn't like everything about Malignant, but I was the one, Bruce wasn't a big fan. He was like, not a big fan. But again, I think what it is for me with Malignant, and something that James Wan does very well, again, with this, you get a lot of this when you watch like independent horror movies, foreign horror films, Japanese films, you know, Italian horror, even some British horror is really good. But when it comes to like Hollywood big release movies, something that James Wan does really well, he sets a tone. He's really good at mood and atmosphere and really good at a bit of a, you know, a slow burn. And I thought some of the mood and the way that Malignant was shot, right? The way it looked and everything, and the home, the Victorian home and inside the home was just really good. You know, I didn't mind the reveal, you know, but anyway, there I go. Going on a long time. So I would say, yes, when I was younger, slasher. Now, I'm older, I'm wiser, and I like to get in here, or I like it to affect me in here. So I'm more of a psychological horror guy overall, right? Overall. That doesn't mean I don't like slasher movies, you know, but my tastes have evolved, let's say, have become elevated. You know, there's some people going, shut up. Thank you for the question. Cody Snyder sends in $5 and says, Dave, anyone else ever mute these videos and watch Dave and his mannerisms? Oh, does anyone else ever? That's a good idea. I think you guys should do that. Does anyone else ever mute these videos and watch Dave and his mannerisms on silent? It's fucking hilarious. It would be. It'd be like this. Hey, actually, let me do one better. I'll mute my mic. That's literally exactly what it would look like. I say, keep doing it. Keep doing it. Mute me. You don't need to listen to me. What the fuck do I have to say? You guys are great. I love it. Bradley Oren sends in $5, says, hey, Dave, random question. I love random questions. I have two favorite films, Halloween 78. Yes. And RoboCop 87. Ooh, that's a good one. I haven't seen that movie in, as the kids say today, it's been a minute. I haven't seen that in a while. I like the first RoboCop. Yeah, it's really good. What's your opinion on RoboCop? Love it or hate it? I love it. No, I do. Well, I can't say I love it, but I mean, I really like that movie. I do. Yeah. I used to watch that a lot as a kid, and I had a VHS tape with the first RoboCop on it. It was a VHS tape with like Poltergeist 3, RoboCop, Harry and the Hendersons, you know, and I used to watch the shit out of that tape. And RoboCop was the movie that I used to watch a lot. on there as well. I used to watch it a lot as well. So yeah, no, I like the first RoboCop a lot. Good movie. Dead or alive, you're coming with me. I think that's what he says, right? Happy Sanjo sends in $2, says, have you seen the trailers for The Black Phone? I have. And I am cautiously optimistic. It's directed by the same guy that directed Sinister. Now, hey, Sinister, 2012, I believe, Ethan Hawke. Now, there's a movie that is not a slasher movie. It is for all intents and purposes, it's a supernatural film, I guess. But that's a movie that, again, the nuance and the slow burn, the mood, the atmosphere, that's how you do it, man. That's a horror film done right. That's what you do. You make it creepy, you make it eerie. You don't have to show a lot of flash. Eventually there has to be a climax for which there's a release. But the journey, man, it's not just the destination. The journey has got to be creepy. And you can have slow burn movies filled with mood and atmosphere. You're slowly progressing. You're on a bit of a mystery, trying to figure things out. Man, it can be creepy. I'm telling you. Bruce and I are working on something right now that we feel is just saying. So I am looking forward to The Black Phone. The Black Phone looks like a bit of a different film than Sinister, of course. But I like Ethan Hawke, and I'm intrigued. Call me intrigued. I'm really looking forward to seeing this movie. Will I see it in the theater? Maybe I might. I'm not sure. We'll see. But I'm definitely looking forward to it. Yep, for sure. All right. Let's see. Zach Axiola says, Dave, do you find enough redeeming qualities in Star Wars Revenge of the Sith to see it as one of the good or even okay Star Wars films? It's always been my favorite. Love the action emotion. I haven't seen Revenge of the Sith in a while. It's been a number of years. I saw all the prequels in the movie theater. I remember liking Revenge of the Sith the most between the three movies. But I think that largely had to do with they finally got to the point. And what I mean is that, the whole story has been sort of moving towards this moment where Anakin Skywalker becomes Darth Vader. And to finally see that change was really cool. And I think if I was to watch all three movies again, I think I would probably feel the same way. I'm trying to remember other things that happened in Revenge of the Sith. It's been a while. It's been over a decade, since I've seen that movie. So, but to answer your question, certainly, yes, I would probably agree with you that out of the three films, it's probably it's the best of the prequels. I don't think it's the best Star Wars movie. I think that's The Empire Strikes Back. The Empire Strikes Back, excuse me. Take a swig of water here. But out of the three prequels, I think it's probably the best one, yeah. Happy. I think there's a bit of a delay here today. People are saying, happy birthday, Dave. Happy birthday. My birthday's tomorrow, but I know I said it's tomorrow. But yes, it is tomorrow. The big 4-3 tomorrow. The big 4-3. Thank you very much, folks. I appreciate that. It's hard to believe I'm going to be 43. I don't feel 43. It's funny, I think I've said this before on the channel, but the only solace I take in getting older, really, because there's nothing fun about getting older. Really, I mean, you're just one year closer to the end. But the only comfort I take really is that everybody I love, and this sounds but I mean, like my friends, my family, we're all getting older. So we're all, it's not like I'm the only one that's getting older and I have to leave everybody behind and you guys all get to stay with the party. We're all heading that way. And so, I might be 43, but all my friends I grew up with are now 43 as well, so I mean, we're all kind of, it's the only comfort I take. It's the only comfort I take because everything else just sucks. You get grayer, you get weaker, you get hair in spots. You don't want to get hair. What the hell's going on here? It's crazy. It's awful. And I'm not old. I'm not saying I'm old, right? 43 is not old, but it's not 23 anymore, and it's like, God, where does the time go? It blows. It does. Anyway, thank you, folks. Appreciate that. Appreciate that very much. And then Tony Michael will be 43 next Sunday. It's crazy. Let me see. The Neighborhood. I like that. The Neighborhood. Sounds like a hip hop singer or something. Like The Weeknd, The Neighborhood. Anyway, $4.99. Thank you. Says, who would have done better in the role? Jack Nicholson as Pennywise or Tim Curry as Jack Torrance? Ooh, I thought you were going to say Tim Curry as the Joker. Nicholson as Pennywise. Depends. I don't think so. Tim Curry as Jack Torrance. Between those two options, I think Tim Curry probably would be able to pull off Jack Torrance better than Jack Nicholson pulling off Pennywise, if those are the two options. But you never know. Edward Nito, I think that's correct, sends in a very generous super chat of $20. Thank you, buddy. Says, hi, Dave. The Godzilla store, there's a Godzilla store? Oh, yeah. I think you mean online, right? Is re-releasing a statue of Godzilla 85 from May 22nd to June 22nd. The figure comes with the Super X, and Godzilla looks just like the suit from the movie. Thought you might want to check it out. Well, I am definitely going to check that out. Thank you very much for that information. I actually have a Godzilla about that big from Godzilla 1985. I ordered it from eBay and it came from Japan and it looks exactly like him. Like he's only about that tall, looks exactly like him. But there were some, I don't know if they're independently made or what, but I remember a few years ago, I was looking at a few like bigger kind of like, we're talking like, well, you can see, I mean, you can't even see my hands, like at least like this, statues of Godzilla 1985. Some people, and it looked incredible, but it was like $500. And I'm like, do I want to drop $500 on that? I mean, I don't know if I want to. I can think of a few other things I'd rather spend $500 on. So, but then again, I mean, you spend $500 on Michael Myers masks, but thank you for that information. I'm definitely going to check that out. I mean, I even ordered, there was this guy on eBay who was selling HD copies of Halloween. That's how ingrained it is in my head. HD copies of Godzilla 1985. I think he was in Poland. And it's like how it was never released in HD. How, anyways, he, did his little thing and he put it on Blu-ray. Sent it to me in a box and everything and artwork and shit. It's fantastic. And I popped it in and I'm like, wow, this is total like this. The picture quality is fantastic. I'm like, how did he do this? It's fucking fantastic. I think he's a guy from Poland or Germany on eBay. And it's really cool. It's really cool because they never released Godzilla 1985 on Blu-ray. I don't even think they released it on DVD. I don't think, although I stand to be corrected. They did release the Japanese version, Return of Godzilla. That is on Blu-ray or DVD, I think. I think you can get that. But the Americanized version with Raymond Burr, which is the one I saw in the movie theater when I was 6, that's never been released, only on VHS. So the fact that I found this guy that was doing that, I was like, oh yeah, I gotta get it. And I got it. It looks great. I don't know how long the disc will last. I mean, but because it's a burn disc, right? But it looks great. Looks fucking great. And thank you for that. Really appreciate that very much. All right. Ooh, I'm a little behind here. New Nightmare Nightly Gymo sends in $4.99, says, hey Dave, if you are being chased, what is scarier to you? I love these questions. A killer who talks, taunts you, or a killer who does not talk at all? I would probably say a killer who does not talk at all. I think it would be far scarier to be being chased by Michael or Jason than it would be to be chased by Chucky or Freddy. I mean, they're all scary at the end of the day. You don't want to be caught. But I think it's, I think it's nobody at all. I think it's nobody at all. Or nobody at all. No talking at all, I mean. No talking at all. Southpaw82 sends in $5 and says, do you believe Michael, Freddy, Jason are the new Dracula, Frankenstein, Wolfman, and films with them will continue for the next 50, 100 years? Yeah, I think so. For sure. But even Michael, Freddy, and Jason now are, 35, 40 years old, right? I mean, in the 80s, they're not new anymore, basically, is what I'm trying to say, right? But do I think they are a version of the Universal monsters from a certain era? For sure. Yeah, 100%. And they will always make them. As long as there's an audience there, Michael, Freddy, and Jason, and Chucky, and Ghostface, and whatever, will live on in some sort of form, whether it's television series, whether it's movies, whether it's cartoons, whether it's virtual reality or video games or whatever is coming down the pipes in terms of technology that we don't even know about. Yes, of course, they will always live on. There will always, because they're embedded into the pop culture zeitgeist, right? They're just part of pop culture. So they will always live on, whether it's a mug you find at a store and you're like, oh, fuck, Jason mug. Ha, check that out. You know what I mean? Or whether it's a movie, they will live on for sure. Yep, 100%. Mohammed Nabil sends in 50. Oh, what is this again? I think it's I know. It's not, you'll let me know. But hey, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Says, hey, Dave, hope all is well. What would you say is your favorite movie of all time? Do you have an answer to that? For me, I'd go with Goodfellas or The Shawshank Redemption. Well, for me, The Shawshank Redemption is definitely up there. It's one of the greatest movies ever made, in my opinion. Shawshank Redemption, The Green Mile. Although Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom is my favorite of the Indiana Jones films, because I just think it's such a adventure. Raiders of the Lost Ark, I think, is the best Indiana Jones film ever made. And I think it's one of the best movies ever made, period. So it's one of my favorites for sure. Halloween, of course. But I think it's hard for me to pick just one, It'd be a lot easier. Like my girlfriend, for example, her favorite movie of all time is Empire of the Sun. But she's not she likes a lot of other movies too. But I think it's easier for her to say, yes, Empire of the Sun, because she's not a movie person per se. She likes movies. Who doesn't like movies? But she's not like me, right? She's not in the entertainment industry. She doesn't have an infatuation with movies or obsessed with movies and all that kind of stuff. Having since met me 10 years ago, I think she's come to appreciate it more and she's seen more movies and all that kind of stuff. But I think it's easier for people like her. She would be like an average moviegoer, like your average person on the street kind of thing. I think it's easier for them to be like, oh yeah, it's this, because they don't watch nearly as much as we do or know as much as we do or, whatever the case is. So, but for somebody like me, it's very hard. I have to pick just one? I can't. Empire Strikes Back, that's up there. Jaws is up there for me. Back to the Future, it's so hard, the original Black Christmas. It's just really hard to pick one. I might be able to narrow it down to genre, maybe, like what's your favorite action movie? What's your favorite horror movie? Like my favorite action movies, the original Die Hard, my favorite horror movies, Halloween, like that might be a bit easier, but just favorite movie, it's like picking your kids, man. It's hard for me to do. It's hard, but I do agree with you on The Shawshank Redemption. And Goodfellas is great too. AK Channel TV says, what popular slasher could you survive? Ooh, what popular slasher could I survive? Freddy would be tough because we all got to fall asleep. But maybe if I had a dream of Freddy and Freddy comes to attack me and kill me, I could start imitating Freddy. Like get on his good side. Be like, no, dude, don't kill me. Let's work together. And then he hears me do that. And he's like, dude, that was pretty good. maybe I could use you somehow. And I'm like, yeah, don't kill me. Let's work together. And then I create the illusion that I'm on his side, and I earn his trust. And then we get him. I think Jason would be a terrifying figure to see in the forest. I think coming across somebody like Jason Voorhees would be absolutely terrifying. That would be frightening. I don't know if I could survive that. Michael, I think I might be able to survive. Although you never know. Chucky, I'd fucking kick the crap out of Chucky. I'd pick him up. I'd smash his face. I'd put his face in the toilet. I'd bang the toilet seat down on top of his head. I'd flush the toilet while he's in there. And then I would go to the highest spot and like drop him. And so he just smashed into 1,000 pieces, and just that's what I would do. So maybe Jason, maybe he's the scariest, man. I don't know. He's the scariest, and maybe Halloween. And then Chucky would be the one I could probably survive. Chucky. Probably a guaranteed survival rate there. I don't know, though. You never know. You never know. Dennis Williams says, what's up, Dave? How are you? Doing pretty good, man. Do you enjoy the Blade movies? I love 1 and 2, and 3 is okay. I saw the first Blade with Wesley Snipes in the movie theater back in 98, I think it was. And that's where I first heard that great techno song at the beginning of that movie. I remember sitting in the movie theater because I was I in college? I can't remember now. And I remember thinking that's a fucking great, because I like dance music. Like, when I was a kid, I loved dance music, and being able, and I love when they would play that at like high school dances and clubs and things like that. And so I was really into that. And when that piece of music dropped in that fucking movie, I was like, this is going to be at like bars and clubs and shit. Like, this is too hot to not be. And sure enough, it was. If you went to a bar or a club in the late 90s, that shit was playing. Haven't heard that song in a while. But that's a great tune. It's a great beat. Let's put it that way. It's great to dance to at a club and just get crazy. So yes, and I do like the first Blade a lot. Blade 2, I can't really remember. Blade 3, I also saw in the movie theater because that's the one with Ryan Reynolds and Triple H, is it? From wrestling? Is he in that? Or is that number 2? Anyways, I remember liking 3. I thought 3 was okay. But the first Blade is great. Yeah, I like the first Blade a lot. It's like it's basically a horror vampire movie, really. Mohammed Nabil sends another 25. Thank you, my man. Says, which James Wan movie do you prefer? Insidious or Conjuring? Ooh. I prefer The Conjuring because it shows less and uses more theater of the mind, as you say. Which do I prefer? They're very similar, but they're very different. I think you're right. I think The Conjuring is probably better. I think most people probably will gravitate towards The Conjuring more. I think The Conjuring has a little bit of a larger pop culture footprint. And so, yes, I would say that thinking of that first Conjuring movie, that was a very, like, as far as, and even that movie's almost a decade old now, but as far as those, again, I often say this because we often forget that there are many movies out there that go beyond Hollywood and the big studio system. So in terms of horror movies and, studio releases, like major, because most big studio release horror movies, I just find are not very good, in my opinion. But The Conjuring was one that I really liked. And as far as that kind of thing goes, that's one of the best. The Conjuring is one of the bigger Hollywood wide release horror movies in the last 20 years. It's really good, really good. That first Conjuring is really good. And I think that first Insidious is really good too. It's creepy. It's a really creepy movie. And of course, Sinister as well. Now that's not James Wan, but I mean, you know, those three there, I mean, that's a great package. Like if you ever had, like if you have, like I don't have kids, but if you have kids, right? And like your kid's like, I don't know, 12 or something. Like, I want to watch horror movies. We're having a sleepover. Let's watch some horror movies. And you're like, you want to watch some fucking horror movies? Yeah, let's watch some horror movies. I don't care. And I'm telling you, man, that's a great triple bill right there. Sinister, Insidious, The Conjuring. Kids will not be able to sleep. Although kids today, I mean, Jesus, they see so much. They're so desensitized, you know? They're so desensitized. But that's a great triple bill. Insidious, The Conjuring, and Sinister. Those are three really cool, great, creepy movies that would be fun to watch on like a big TV and surround sound in the dark or something. That's really great, yeah. So I would say that... I guess I prefer The Conjuring, I guess, but I'm a big fan of Insidious, though. I'm a big fan of that first movie. Second movie, third movie wasn't bad. It was directed by Lee Winnell, so, you know, James Wan's right-hand man there. And I never saw the fourth one. And, of course, Patrick Wilson's directing the fifth one. I'm like, do we need a fifth Insidious? But that first one's really good. All right, let me see here. George Stegall sends in $10. Thank you very much. Says, happy early birthday, Dave. Thank you very much. Can you do a but Dave for me? Thank you. You are my YouTube content creator. I'm assuming your favorite. Well, that's awesome. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Sure, yeah. But Dave, what do you mean? There you go, George, and thank you so much for the super chat. I really appreciate that very much. Evil Alex says, getting older sucks mostly because of my parents. I don't want to see them die. Can't imagine how it's going to be or how to deal with it. How was it for you? You lost both of your parents. Sorry for your loss. Thank you, Evil. It's tough. You know, it's tough. And I lost my parents fairly young. You know, I was 32. They were 67 and 69. So, you know, we all kind of hope, especially in this day and age with today's technology and medicine and, you know, we live in North America, right? You know, whether you're in Canada or the US, we are in a first world country. We have the best access to, I'm not saying there aren't issues and problems, but, you know, we have the best access to healthcare and resources and medicine and all that kind of stuff. And you know, we all hope to live into our 80s, I think. I think if you'd ask anybody, yeah, I hope we can live into our 80s, you know. But sometimes it doesn't happen. And it was tough. I mean, it came on sort of... My mom was a bit different because my mom was diagnosed with cancer, but she only had like a few months to live. And she only lived a few more months. And she died in July of 2011. My dad was very unexpected because my dad died of a heart attack in the Ottawa Sun newsroom. He was working on a story and he died 2.5 months after my mother passed. Now, again, for those of you that don't know, my mother and father were not together. Okay. My parents had split and divorced in the early 80s when I was about 4 or 5. But they had remained close because they had had 4 kids together. So, you know, it wouldn't be unprecedented for my dad to come into town for a visit, you know, the kids, but we'd all go out for dinner and my mom would be there too. You know, it wasn't an awkward situation. So yeah. And my dad, and that was unexpected. That was just, you know, it happened. So you don't have time to prepare or think or anything, right? It's not easy, man. It's not easy. And it is a reality that if you do have parents that are alive, of course, that we will all have to face. I faced it. You'll have to face it. But you can't think about that. You know, you have to just, because, you know, as the saying goes, if you worry about all the bad things that could happen, and obviously this is more than a could, it will, but the principles of the saying are the same, right? If you worry about all the bad things that could happen, you're going to miss out on all the good things that will. And so spend as much time with them as you can, you know, tell them you love them, spend as much time with them, you know, as you can, and really sort of just, yeah, I mean, that's all we can do. It's, but it is tough. It is tough getting older and facing that reality, it's not easy. It's not easy. And I was very fortunate to have had a very good relationship with my parents. Because there's people out there that do not have it. There's a lot of people that have really shitty relationships with their parents because their parents are shitty people. They're terrible people. And so some of these people don't even have a relationship with them, and good for them. So I was very fortunate that my mom and dad, I had a really good relationship with. And I always know, that my mom and dad would not want me to stand still or to mourn forever. They would want me to keep going and to, all that. But not everybody's like that, so I recognize that too. I was very fortunate that way. Very, very lucky. But yeah, just tell them you love them and hang out with them as much as you can. And don't think about it. Mike Johnson says, I'm 45. I can't believe I'll be 50 in 5 years. It's crazy. I know. Me, 50 in 7 years. What? That doesn't make any sense. It's weird. It is weird. It is weird. Listen, I've been a jogger my whole life. I started running when I was, when I was 25. No, when I was 16, more than 25 years ago. And I made a social media post the other day. I most of my adult life, I've been about 165, 167 pounds. And I'm not that tall. Like, I'm only 5'8". And the other day I weighed myself and I was 157. And I was like, whoa, I haven't been, which is not a bad thing. I mean, that's really good. I was like, wow, because 157, I haven't seen that since like high school. Because my high school weight was about 154, 155. And I was like, wow, I'm only 3 pounds away from high school. I wonder if I can get there, So now I'm trying to get back to that. I'm like, I'm going to get back. And I think what did it was, I'm eating a bit better as well. And I improved my running from 5K to 7K. And I think that did it as well. So, I feel great. Yeah, I feel great. Like it's crazy. It's crazy. But, that was one of the reasons though, why I decided to, cause I'm like, I'm going to be 43, and, yeah. Gonna just try and get back down to, lose a few pounds and get back down. And I have, so I'm excited. I'm like, this is great. This is great. I did not expect it. I don't know. It was weird. I remember and listen, it's not that much, right? Like, 167 to 157 is only 10 pounds, right? But on somebody who's 5'8", you do really notice that. Like, if you're like 6'2", and you're 250 pounds and you lose 10 pounds, well, you're probably not even going to notice anything, right? But if you're 5'8", 167 to 157 or 155, that's actually, that's a lot. So I really noticed it. I was like, wow, this is great, but it was just so weird. I got on the scale and I thought, no, high school weight? And I got off and I stood back on. I'm like, yeah, holy snap and crap. So like I said, I feel really good. And at 43, you don't want it, because the last thing I wanted was to get lazy at 167. And then I start, you know what I mean? And then you hit 170 and then 175. And I'm like, I'm only 5'8", and it's like, what's good? You know what I'm saying? It's like, so I wanted to kind of, let me scoot down a little bit and get back to, where maybe I should be at 155 or whatever. And it's not that I was like fat or anything, but I've definitely noticed a big difference, and I feel a lot better at this weight than I was even just 10 pounds ago. So, but that's all because I'm in my 40s. I'm like, I don't want to get lazy and let it slip away. And then the next thing you know, you're going, holy crap, look at this gut or something, So it can sneak up on you. I'm going for a run after this show today too. So at least the sun, okay, good. I thought it was raining for a minute. I'm like, at least I want to. Okay, yeah, I'm definitely going to go. Sun is out. All right, let me see here. A lot of super chats coming in. You guys are amazing. I got that. Oh, wait a minute. Yes, I got that. Okay, Eddie Chase sends in $25. Thank you, Eddie. Really appreciate that. Very, very generous of you. OG Friday is not best of the series. Sets up who whodunit without appropriate whodunit. Why wasn't she a worker at camp or cafe in disguise? Lazy reveal, but great acting by she and Alice could be third act survivors until reveal. Well, there is definitely no doubt about it that it is a whodunit that is a little bit of cheating, because you obviously are not introduced to this person in the beginning, and you don't know who it is. And I think I might be partly responsible for, I don't know for sure, but I know that I have referred to the first Friday the 13th as a whodunit. But you are correct that when you do break it down to the criteria of what a whodunit usually is, you're absolutely right. The original Friday the 13th is missing a very important component, which is it's impossible to guess who it is because you're never introduced to this person in the beginning. I guess what I meant by when I say whodunit is that you don't know who it is and people are dropping and you're taking guesses of maybe who it could be or, what does it mean, right? And that creates a sense of mystery and atmosphere and creepiness, and I like that in a movie. Certainly the original Friday the 13th is by no means on anybody's top list of Friday the 13th films. It usually falls in and around the middle, I think. And fair enough, totally understandable. What I really like about that first Friday the 13th, though, because it's one of my favorites, it would probably be my number one. It probably goes in order for me, 1, 2, 3, 4, or maybe 1, 2, 4, 3. It probably goes in order. But for me, I would say what sets it apart for me is I just find it so creepy. I think it is so well done in terms of the mood and some of the shots, and I've gone over it here many times, like that scene when the girl's at the mirror at the sink and she looks over, just the way it looks with that shot down the corridor of the stall with the curtain and the light just hanging there, and you see like a little hand, and then the hand goes away and it's like, who is that? What's going on or whatever. And then of course when what's her face is in bed and she hears, help me, help me. And it's just thunder and raining. And she's like, what is that? Like, how fucked up that would be. Imagine you're alone in a camp with 4 adults and there's no children there. And you hear a fucking kid out in the rain and you're in the middle of fucking nowhere in the woods. I just think and the way it looks, it's so dark and you only see where the flashlight's pointed, and it's not overly sort of lit, and obviously that would be for budget, and there's just a lot of things I love about that movie, and the music, and I just think it's genuinely creepy. That's not to say that part 2 isn't great or part 3 isn't great or part 4 isn't great, but that first Friday the 13th, there's just something about it that I really like. But you are correct. For those of you that say, well, it's not really I guess, but it's not really a whodunit, because you're absolutely correct. You're absolutely correct. But the first one does hold a special place in my heart. But I do love part 2, 3, and 4 as well. And for me, the Friday series really is 1 through 4. That's it for me. I don't mind 6, but I don't like 6 as much as you guys do. Part 6 is like the fan favorite. It's like the H2O of the Friday the 13th franchise in terms of being like a fan favorite. It's like the Elm Street 3 of the franchise. It's the fan favorite. Everybody loves, Friday 6. And I like it too. I like it. I can't say I love it. I much prefer 1 through 4. Much prefer 1 through 4. I actually think I might prefer 5, which I know is like blasphemous, but that's me. All right, let me scroll down. Oliver Mercer sends in $5, says, hey, Dave, happy early birthday. Thank you very much. If you had an opportunity to go to space or to the center of the earth, which one would you choose? I would probably go to space. As long as I am well taken care of and I'm not going to die. And, I would probably go to space. Space would be, wow. Yeah, space for sure. Hands down. I don't even have to think twice about that. I'm going to space, baby. I'm going to space. Okay, let me see here. I'm a little behind. I think I did get all the super chats though. The Oliver Mercer one. And I think the last one here so far is Neil Rook. Sends in $5, says, hello, my mate. Hello, Neil. I have a brother, Neil, by the way, says, how important is diet when you're doing voiceovers? That's interesting. My voiceover coach says different things can affect your voice. Well, they're not wrong when they say that. But for me, I've never worried too much about that. I think, and I don't know who your voiceover coach is, and I'm certainly not trying to say that they're wrong when I say this. There are certain, I'm not going to say, I think it's the word diet that is a little strange. I don't think diet affects your voice at all, unless you are morbidly obese or something like that. But I don't think eating a hamburger and fries affects your voice. I don't think my voice is going to be different whether I eat hamburger and fries or a chicken Caesar salad or a piece of fish. So I've never really heard about that. I think that might be overreaching a bit. But again, I don't know what sort of the context he's saying. For me, the only advice I've ever given people is, try not to drink anything carbonated before going into a voiceover session because you don't want to be burping all the time. Try not to drink coffee. Just bring a bottle. Like whenever I go to a voiceover session, I'll either bring a bottle of water with me, or if it's a studio I'm familiar with and I know that they have bottles of water on hand, which a lot of studios do, I will just grab a bottle of water there. Water is the best thing. It's the best thing. When your mouth gets dry and you get those mouth clicks, that kind of stuff, water's the best thing for it. Now, if there's a bit of that, mouth clicks can be taken out in post-production. There's ways to take those things out. But I know that I think eating a green apple, or maybe it's a yellow apple, can help with mouth clicks as well. Things like that. But in terms of diet, I've never heard anybody saying that you have to have a specific diet. And maybe they're right. Like maybe medically they're right to some degree, but I don't think that your diet would really affect your voice. I've always just made sure to get a good night. If I know I'm doing a session from home in the morning, or if I have to go into a studio downtown Toronto, I always make sure that I get a good night's sleep. In the morning, I have some breakfast because I don't want to be hungry. So I always make sure I eat. And I will have a bowl of cereal or some toast and peanut butter and a banana and a glass of orange juice or something. I make sure that I'm, I don't just pick off something small because I don't want to be, the last thing you want is to be in the voiceover booth hungry and your stomach is going, and then I bring a bottle of water with me and away I go. And, yeah, but that's me. There's lots of people that have asked me as well, what sort of vocal warm-ups do I do and this kind of stuff. And I think when you're learning voiceover, a lot of voiceover coaches will teach that kind of stuff because it can be beneficial to somebody who is, maybe starting out. But I've been doing this for over 20 years and working at the top of the field, and I've never done a voiceover vocal warm-up. That's not to say that they wouldn't help. That's not to say that they don't help you or wouldn't help somebody, or if somebody does do them, that it doesn't help them. But I've never had to do them. I've never felt the need to do them. I just go in and I do my thing. And then I leave. So, I think we can overreach and we can sort of make it out to be more than what it really is. And I think some coaches can do that. Not to say that your coach is doing that. I don't know who your coach is, and I'm not saying they're doing that. I'm just simply saying that can be possible. I've never heard of the diet thing, just more of the, don't bring a Coke into the studio, or, maybe chew on an apple or something if you feel a bit dry, or bring a bottle of, just kind of standard kind of stuff. Coffee, try to lay off the coffee before, but I haven't heard of the diet thing. Anyway, those are my thoughts. Okay. Let me just go over. I think I got all the super chats if I'm not mistaken, I believe. Okay, where are we here? How long have we been going? We've been going for an hour and 14 minutes. Not too bad, not too bad. All right, what else we got? Let's see. Aaron Click says, if you think you eat a lot of junk food, it most certainly can affect your voice. But you'd probably have to be pretty extreme with the crap food for it to affect your voice. Well, that's what I mean. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think if you are somebody that is obese or morbidly obese, or you just have a really bad diet, I mean, yes, perhaps, for sure. I imagine that it not just affects your voice, it affects everything. It affects your blood pressure. It affects, your joints. It affects everything. So does your voice get affected? Yeah, I could see that. But it just feels like an extreme case to me. Like I said, I've been doing this for over 20 years, working at the top of the field. And I've never heard anybody talk about diet specifically in relates to voiceover. Just little things like I said, like Coke and coffee and all that kind of stuff. And, get a bit of, my mouth kind of clicks and stuff. And I'll maybe chew on that or whatever. Or if you feel something coming on, maybe have some tea or, like things like that. But I've never been told don't eat a hamburger before your voiceover session. So I think you're right about that, Aaron. Mohammed Nabil sends in 100 AED. Thank you very much. I don't know what that translates to, but it's probably lower, but nonetheless, very generous. Thank you very much. Says one more super chat because tomorrow is your birthday. Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate that. A great and intelligent guy. Oh. Me? That's very sweet. Hope you have a great one. Thank you. And I love that you agree with both my picks, Goodfellas and Shawshank. Oh, absolutely. Oh, yeah. Fucking great picks. And the currency is United Arab Emirates. That's right. United Arab Emirates. United Arab Emirates. Okay. I got it. So Arab Emirates dominate. Okay. All right. I got it. Okay. All right. I got it. Thank you very much. I got it. Where are my glasses? I don't have my glasses. Trying to see everything. Okay. Got it. And thank you for the super chat. Really appreciate it. Matthew Mills says, hey, Dave, how many It's Me, Billy Blu-rays do you still have to post? Do I still have to post? There's about, I think, 20 left to go out. And they are to the UK, Australia. And then that's it for the Blu-rays. All the Blu-rays. So all the t-shirts have gone out. All the hoodies have gone out. For all intents and purposes, all the Blu-rays have gone out, with a few little left. The digital download package, that's all gone. The phones, the signed phones are all gone. What else? Everything except for the remaining posters and the winter hats. And that was because, if you're just joining me and you haven't got your poster yet, we know there's been a big delay. Our vendors have been backed up. And there's been a delay, and they've been out of stock of the hats. The hats have just come in finally, and so we're working on that now to get those out. So we appreciate your patience. It wouldn't have taken this long to get everything out because we also but the delays at the post office because of COVID have been ridiculous. So that's also been part of the problem because there's been people that have reached out to us and been like, hey, finally got, the Blu-ray. And I'm like, we sent that like 3 months ago. Like they're just getting it now. I kid you not. Now it's not like that. Like now you should get it in reasonable time. But when we were sending shit in January and December and in February, oh yeah, there were people like would just tell us now, hey, just got the Blu-ray. We're like, now? We sent that like January 10th or something. It's been insane. So, but 95% of the stuff is out. There's just the remaining little stragglers in terms of the posters and the hats that we got to just push out there finally. And we've been waiting for these to come in. So that's really the reason for the delays. So hopefully the next time we do an Indiegogo campaign, there will not be COVID, there won't be a world pandemic, and there won't be, shortages and delays and all that kind of stuff, and we can get them out much faster. So really appreciate it. But and like I said, I do have a few extras that I may post for giveaways or to sell or whatever in the near future. So look out for that. Frank Riker, my man. Frank Riker, my man. Frank Riker, my man. Oh, what are you saying? I know, J Beach. Dave made me self-conscious. I made you self-conscious? Oh no, Frank, what did I make you self-conscious about? Oh no. Oh, I see what you're saying. But Frank, you're taller than me, though. You're taller than me. You're like 6'1", dude. You look great, Frank. You look fine. I'm 5'8". You look great, man. You look great. And listen, I've just been doing this for years, and I had no intention on doing it, but then I saw it and I was like, oh wow, I'm so close to high school weight. I should keep going. And that's what I'm going to do. You look great, Frank. You look great. You do actually look great. Yeah, aren't you 6'1"? I think you're like 6'1", aren't you? Or maybe you're 6'10". I don't know. Chester Franklin Jr. says, Dave, you agree with me on this? I do? Okay. If they just have H178, H2, 81, H4 of the original trilogy, not having the other sequels, and no Rob Zombie's Halloween movies, just Halloween 78, 2, and 4, 18 kills and ends. Well, you couldn't have 18 kills and ends if you have 2 and 4. Unless Halloween Ends is all of a sudden going to say that, no, we're just kidding. That's all real. But as of right now, it would make no sense to have 18 kills and ends if you want to have 2 and 4. But yes, I do agree with some of what you said there. I think H1, if you want to look at it as a series, I think H1 and H2 and H4, never making another one. It just ends with Jamie at the top of the stairs. That's a great trilogy right there. Yeah, I think it is. I also think H1 and H2 is a great double bill, and you just end it there. Michael Myers burns to death in the fire. I also think Halloween 1 is a great single movie where you just ends with the original intention, which is he's out there, he's everywhere. Goodbye. You know, so I agree with you, Chester. I agree with you. Aaron says 6'10". Frank could be the next Jason. He's 6'10". Frank, I don't know if you guys know this, but Frank is 6'10" and Darren is 7'5". Like, I don't know if you guys know this, but seriously, they are. They're mammoths. I don't, they don't look it on camera, but they are. 5'13". Oh, I get it now. 6 foot. Ooh, well played, Frank. Yeah, so you're 6 foot. You're fucking 4 inches taller than me. Both you and Darren will be looking down at me and leaning your arms on my head if we get photos taken together. We'll have to do that. I don't know. Yeah, no, probably. You probably could. Because Darren, I think, is like 6'1" or something like that, isn't he? It's true. I mean, that might be the difference between Nick Castle, Tommy Lee Wallace, and Deborah Hill. I'm just saying. That's what it's going to look like. Lee Bauer says, Dave, I just got done watching Halloween 281. You just got done watching Halloween 281. Amazing. Why isn't Michael's eye damage in the movie? It puzzles me. Did they forget to do the damaged eye? Yeah, maybe. Maybe they did. Well, we don't see his... When do we see his eyes? The eye that is damaged is the left eye. The eye that we see when he jumps up from behind the couch and stabs the girl in the neck, I believe is his right eye. I don't think we see his left eye. When he gets shot in the eyes and he's going like this and he's looking back and you see the blood streaming down his, yes, you see his left eye and you don't quite see a bit, but it's kind of in shadow and you just see sort of the catch lights in his eye and blood coming down. I mean, who knows, I mean, that's never really bothered me, really. I don't think we see his eyes at any other. Oh no, that's not true. We also see his eyes, the hot tub as well. That's right. We see his eyes at the hot tub when he grabs what's her face there and puts her into the hot tub. So we do see his eyes there. I'd have to go back and have a look to see how good of a shot we get. How good of a shot? Is that even grammatically correct? Yeah, I'd have to go back and see that shot and see if we see how well we see his left eye, and for how long, right? And whether there's enough time to decipher whether there's damage there or not, But then again, I mean, maybe I can't believe I'm justifying this. Hey, it just happened like a few hours ago. So maybe it's not swelled up yet. Maybe it's not infected yet, right? You know, maybe by the time we get to Halloween, 18, of course, you see it all fucked up because naturally there was time for the infection to kick in. I'm just saying. Maybe that's it. Darren says I'm 6'4" in heels. 6'4" stilettos. 6'4" in stilettos. Darren's in drag about, 5 hours a week, I think, something like that. Frank says, but Dave, we'll all be the same height with your top hat. Yeah, I wish I still had that top hat. Thank you for the super chat, Frank. Appreciate it. I wish I had that top hat still. It was a plastic top hat. I think it came from a magician's magic set, like a children's magic set. I think that's where it came from. And for those of you that don't know what Frank is talking about, in the 80s, in the mid 80s, before they released a Freddy Krueger costume with the plastic glove and the plastic knives and all that kind of stuff, and the mask and the foam hat. Well, when Elm Street came out, and when I first got into Elm Street, when I was like 6 and 7, that didn't exist. You couldn't buy that. So I remember wanting to play Freddy Krueger, playing Elm Street as a kid. And I was outside on my front lawn. And I remember taking a winter glove and taping 4 pens without the caps on. I mean, that's a lethal weapon in and of itself. Inject somebody with ink. But anyway, taping pens to a winter glove. And I didn't have a fedora or any sort of type of Freddy hat. All I had hanging around was this plastic top hat from my magician's set. And I didn't have a Freddy sweat or anything. And as funny as that is at face value, and it is really funny to look back at it, it really goes to show you the imagination of a child. I went out into the street under my front lawn with this glove in hand, probably wearing a fucking, white t-shirt or something and shorts. And I have this little plastic top hat on. And my friend Johnny, who lives next door, who was my best friend at the time, he's like running away from me, right? Because it's a dream sequence and he's Freddy. He might have been like playing, Jesse or something. And I remember walking on the street with, the glove, and I had my head turned like this, like Freddy does, and this little top hat on. I'm going, ha, 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 ha. But in my mind, I was Freddy. I was Freddy Krueger. That's who I envisioned. That's what I saw in my mind. Freddy Krueger. If the neighbors were looking out, they would have been like, what the fuck is that little McRae kid doing? The hell is going on? And maybe Johnny really was afraid. I mean, I did have fucking 4 pens I could inject him with. But anyway, that's what Frank's talking about there, if you guys don't know. It was so funny. I wish I still had that hat. If you look closely, at the beginning of each episode of the Slaughtered Lamb Movie Podcast, you'll see my name in the center column, the very first list of names, right? You'll see my name at the bottom, center column, and beside my name is a little person wearing a top hat. That's what that's all about, by the way, in case anybody wants to know. I think it's hilarious that they put that there. They have to leave that there. That's so awesome. Oh, my goodness. All right. Let's see. RJ McCready says, my favorite 4 kills in Friday the 13th films. Sleeping bag. Okay, that's 7, right? Bill Hook machete. Is that how you said it? Bill Hook machete to the man in the wheelchair. Oh, yeah, man in the wheelchair. Okay, that's part 2, I think. 2 or 3. Is it 3? It's 2 or 3. And the arrow through the neck liquid nitrogen. Arrow through the neck liquid nitrogen. What is that? Jason X, or what episode is that? What movie is that? I can't remember. Juan Rivera says, hey Dave, I recently found out that the black lady that died in Halloween Kills, the older couple, is the lady from 18. She is. Yeah, she's the graveyard keeper, whatever. When the podcasters were at the cemetery, continuity is pretty strong with this trilogy. Well, I guess. I mean, yeah, I guess so. Yes, that is her. That is her. That is correct. Lee Bowers says, Dave, one more thing. Would we get a Halloween Ends trailer when the Black Phone hits theaters because it's a Blumhouse film? Quite possibly. The Black Phone comes out June something? Possibly. The question then becomes not really, look, the trailer's coming. The question is, what is the trailer going to be? Is it going to be the CinemaCon trailer, which wasn't much? The vast majority of the CinemaCon trailer was just kind of like a tribute to the Halloween franchise, right? Showing old clips, past clips, and then it ends with a few seconds of Laurie fighting Michael in the kitchen. Now the question becomes, a lot of people want to know what the Michael Myers mask looks like. What does the mask look like? What does the mask look like? And that's fine. But I want to know what Laurie Strode looks like, because a lot of people have speculated, myself included, that maybe the beginning of that, or the footage that they show of Laurie and Michael fighting in a kitchen, maybe that's not Halloween Ends. Like, that's not further in the movie or the climax of Halloween Ends. Maybe that's the end of Halloween Kills. We know that Laurie leaves the hospital with the intention of going after him. Maybe that's a fight scene in the Myers house kitchen? I don't know. Well, what is Laurie wearing? That's what I want to know. Because if it looks like she's wearing the same getup that she was wearing when she left the hospital, well, that tells you everything you need to know right there. If she's in a different set of clothing, that tells you everything you need to know right there. So who cares what the mask looks like? What the fuck is Laurie wearing? What's she wearing? That's what I want to know. But anyway, the question becomes, is the trailer going to be just that CinemaCon teaser? It might be, which might disappoint some fans. Or is it going to be something completely different and something new with new footage and an actual, maybe still a teaser trailer, but more stuff from actually, Halloween Ends? I don't know. Black Phone is a good bet. It's a good bet. It may release online before that. It's a good bet. I'll have to reach out to somebody and maybe see if I can get a little insight on that. But that's a good bet. That's a good bet. We shall see, though. We shall see. Frank says, I hope Laurie looks like Master Blaster from Mad Max. I want her to, I don't know. I'm really curious to see anything from this movie because it's been so tight-lipped. I am just really curious to see anything from this film because, like I said, it's just been so tight-lipped. Gary Rangel says, Dave, most iconic shot of Halloween franchise. Michael walking out of the fire from the darkness in H Kills. Do you agree? It's a great shot. I think we throw the words iconic, legend, and GOAT, the acronym GOAT, I think we throw those things around a little too loosely. In my opinion, for some, listen, I mean, it's not a hard, fast rule, but I think for something to be iconic, it has to have some sort of pop culture footprint, and it has to stand the test of time. Halloween Kills is too new. It's a great shot, but will that shot be on posters and t-shirts and mugs and, 25 years from now? I don't know. Like we see a lot of the shots from Halloween. It's again, it's a very different world we live in now, and how that comes to be, who knows? It's a great shot. Maybe I'm thinking because I'm a very literal person, maybe I'm thinking too literally, because again, we throw the words legend and iconic around like it's no, like it too loosely, that it loses its true meaning, and I just can't help but feel that, yes, it's definitely a cool shot. Probably one of the coolest shots of this new trilogy for sure so far. Is it iconic? Well, I don't know. The movie hasn't even been out for a year, so let's wait and see. Let's wait and see if we still feel that way 25 years from now. Like that shot right there of Nick Castle at the top of the stairs, right? That's iconic. It stand the test of time. That's art. They make cups and mugs and t-shirts and fucking hoodies and you know, toys and I mean, do you know what I mean? Right? That's iconic because it has stood the test of time. It's wow, you know. Fire? Maybe. Because don't get me wrong, I'm not saying it's not a really cool shot. Michael coming out of that fire with that halogen bar and just standing there, it's a cool shot. The whole scene's cool. Absolutely. But is it iconic? In my opinion, because I like to really kind of not use the word so loosely and kind of reserve those things for true meanings of what, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to say not yet. Not yet. But that doesn't mean it's not cool and great. Masterpiece. Yes, Frank. Thank you. Yes. And masterpiece. That's right. That's right. Iconic, legendary, GOAT, masterpiece. These things are thrown around way too loosely. Way too loosely. I've been planning on doing a video talking about this, so I might dedicate a specific video to it with, you know, examples. But I agree. I agree that it just feels like everything, it just feels like it becomes a synonym. Iconic, legendary, and masterpiece just become synonyms for just liking something, you know, or thinking, you know, just, well, I think that's cool. I like it. So it's a masterpiece. It's, you know, oh, I like that. So it's legendary. And it's like, no, that's not because it has no meaning. If everything's legendary and everything's iconic, then nothing's iconic or legendary. Do you know what I mean? I mean, Jamie Lee Curtis saying it's a masterpiece. I'm just like, no, The Shawshank Redemption's a masterpiece. You know, The Godfather's a masterpiece. You know, Halloween Kills is not a masterpiece. You know, I mean, think of how silly it would be, right? You know, talking about the great cinematic pieces of cinema and, you know, The Godfather, The Shawshank Redemption, you know, Bridge on the River Kwai and Chinatown and Psycho and Halloween Kills. It's like, no. You know what I mean? Now, listen, again, it can be subjective. I get that. I understand that. Okay. If you want to think something's okay, okay. But in order for something to be a masterpiece, there is usually a general consensus, right? And that general consensus, and not just with masterpiece, with legend, icon, GOAT, you know, usually there is a general consensus. And that general consensus is that, you know, fans, cinephiles, critics, you know, average moviegoers, generally all those people agree, that's really good. That's really good. And when you have all those people agreeing, then you may be looking at a masterpiece, right? That doesn't mean everybody agrees. I'm just saying that, you know, generally speaking, there has to be a general consensus. You know, Halloween Kills is not a masterpiece. I'm not saying that if you love the movie, that's great, but I mean, it's, you know, it's not. It's not. Anyway. Arthur Vega sends in a very generous super chat of $20. Thank you, Arthur. Appreciate that. Says, hey, Dave, just turned in love for the channel. Well, thank you so much. Random question. Could you see Christopher Walken in a Halloween movie? Yeah, maybe. I could see that. Yeah, playing like a doctor or somebody who maybe worked under Loomis or, yeah, maybe. I could see that. Walken can be really good, you know? I mean, he's not, I know we like to make, fun of him because of the way he talks. You know, hello, come on, my shoes are tied. And, you know, or hello, come on. You know, I know we like to make fun of that. And he's easy to imitate, but Christopher Walken's a great actor. And you put him in a role where he's like an authority figure or a doctor or, I don't know, a psychiatrist or something in a Halloween movie where he's got like, it's not a big role, but it's maybe somebody they have to go and meet because he's got information and they meet him at his office and he sits down and he's Christopher Walken, you know, and he's talking about Michael and, you know, all that. Yeah, I think he would fit right in for sure. Why not? Why not? Put him in there. Put him in there. Red Foreman sends in $5. Thank you, Red, and says, hey, Dave, in Halloween 78, how did Loomis know to go to the cemetery? To me, it's the one scene that doesn't fit in the movie. Thoughts? Well, I think it's very easy to explain. So Dr. Loomis has spent 8 years trying to reach him and then another 7 trying to keep him locked up because he realized Loomis was out to me, right? So he spent 15 years with the boy. He knows the boy's history. The reason why Michael Myers is locked up because of the murder of Judith Myers, right? So he would have that information. Dr. Loomis would have that information 100%. And so, in that 15 years, right, there's, he would know all about who Judith Myers was. And so it makes logical sense as his psychiatrist, as a very astute, smart individual, a very perceptive individual that Dr. Loomis was in that first movie, right? I mean, he comes across as astute and smart and has a keen sense of objective awareness. And, he's a smart dude, we know this. It makes sense to me that he would go to the graveyard because he's like, well, I'm looking for Michael Myers. Judith Myers is buried in this graveyard. I don't imagine Haddonfield has too many graveyards. So he pulled his car up and he probably talked to the graveyard keeper and he was like, hey, is Judith Myers buried here? Yes, Judith Myers. Yes. You want to go? Can you take me to her plot, please? I need to go. And so the graveyard keeper gets in the car and he just wanted to go check it out and see maybe it was defaced. Maybe it was broken. Maybe it was, he may not have known that it would have been removed, but maybe he just wanted to kind of just check it out, right? You go where the kind of, the connections are, you know what I mean? And so that's what he did. And he was right. And that's why he's like, he doesn't say it like this, but in his mind, he's probably thinking, holy fucking shit. He came home. That's the part he says, right? But in his mind, he's going, Jesus, I knew it. I was right to come here, So I think it makes sense. It's never bothered me. I don't think we need to have a specific explanation of why he went there, because I think if you think about it for a moment, well, that makes sense. He's been a psychiatrist for 15 years. That's a connection, right? His sister in the graveyard. Okay, makes sense to me. That's how I feel about it anyway. All right, we'll go for another 5 minutes. Another 5 minutes, then I have to skedaddle here and go for my run. Ooh, what's the temperature today? Looks like it might be actually pretty nice out. It is 17 degrees Celsius. That's great. I don't know what that is. Hey, Google, what is 17 degrees Celsius in Fahrenheit?
17 degrees Celsius is equal to 62.6 degrees Fahrenheit.
You didn't have to fucking yell it. 62 degrees. So that's a really nice day for a run. That's really good. I'm looking forward to it. Frank says, and he's right, walking was great in the dead zone, especially when he gets mad. Yeah, that'd be great. Or maybe what's going to make everybody mad at the end of Halloween Ends is they take off the mask and under the mask is Christopher Walken. And it isn't James Jude Courtney. It's Christopher Walken. Maybe that is what the problem's going to be. Maybe that is what it's going to be. I'm just saying, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just saying. Let me see here. But I want to get Aaron Click. Colin McCormick. Oh, Colin McCormick's talking to somebody above. That's great. I got all excited there. Okay. A nobody says One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Comes soon and on TSL podcast and Two Dudes and Some Bullshit crossover soon. Maybe by any chance. Oh, a crossover with Frank and maybe. You never say never. You never say never. That would be an epic show for sure. You never say never. All right, let me scroll down here. The doll? Yadal? McCoyness Beast. McCoy-ness Beast? I think I'm saying that right. McCoy-ness Beast. Hey, Dave. Or hey, everyone. Hey, Dave. Hey, McCoy. How you doing? I'm just about to log off here in a few seconds, but it's great that you could join us anyway. Hunter Randy says, best fast food. Ooh, I'm not a big fast food guy, but I would say if I was going to have fast food, I love pizza. Yep, pizza, for sure. Pizza with dipping sauce. Yeah. And Harvey's. I like Harvey's. I don't think you guys get Harvey's. I know you have Arby's, but in Canada we have something called Harvey's with a V. They make great burgers. I think it's Canadian though. I like McDonald's, McDonald's, Wendy's, Burger King. Although I like Burger King less, but McDonald's, Wendy's, Arby's. I don't know. You know what I didn't like though, and I know this is blasphemous for all you people on the West Coast because I think it's just the West Coast, if I'm not mistaken, but I'm not American, so you can correct me. Last time I was in LA, my girlfriend and I had In-N-Out. Didn't like it. I don't get what the fucking fuss is all about. I've had 40 burgers way better than that burger, and 40 French fries way better than those. I just don't get it. I don't understand it. It wasn't the worst thing I've ever tasted, but it certainly wasn't the best. I was expecting more. I'm just saying, that's me. Don't get the hype. Frank sends one last super chat and says, thank you, Frank, by the way. Says, Dave, why is it that on the captions for H1, Lori says it was the boogeyman, but in the H2 version, the captions say, was it the boogeyman? Well, I think it just comes down to two different people doing the captions, probably. I mean, for years, and to be fair, it is strange. I mean, it is muffled, She basically says, 'twas the boogeyman, right? Like 'twas the night before Christmas. I made a video on this, putting this to bed like 3 years ago. It was the boogeyman is in the script. It makes sense to her arc, right? In the beginning of the movie, she didn't believe. By the end of the movie, she's basically saying, holy fuck, Tommy was right. It was the boogeyman. But it's not clear because it's lost in the performance, right? So she's like, was the boogeyman. That's what she's saying. And then Dr. Loomis just confirms it. As a matter of fact, it was. She's not saying, was it the boogeyman? That's not what she's saying. And Jamie Lee Curtis, at the, I believe it was the Night She Came Home documentary that Sean Clark put together in 2013, if I'm not mistaken, or somewhere around there, she even confirmed that what she said was, it was the boogeyman. And she's like, was it the boogeyman? Why would I say that? You know what I mean? Or whatever. So yeah, that should be put to bed, even though subtitles and t-shirts and shit like that still get it wrong. So I would say it's probably just two different people doing the subtitles. That would be my guess anyway. That'd be my guess. All right, folks, listen, that's going to do it for me here on this impromptu Monday Q&A. Thank you so much for tuning in. You guys and gals are amazing. Thank you, of course, to my great moderators, Frank Riker, Darren Sands, Tabitha Short, Chris Baber. You guys are amazing, keeping the chat flowing. And I saw you doing a bit of kind of reworking the chat a bit earlier here. You guys are awesome. And don't forget to tune into the Slaughtered Lamb Movie Podcast. Just saying, if you haven't subscribed to them, subscribe to them now. You're going to love their content. You're going to thank me later. Yeah, I'll send you an invoice. Anyway, so that's going to do it for me. Again, no two dudes and some bullshit tonight. No two dudes and some bullshit next Monday either, because next weekend is Tony's birthday, and so we will be back at the beginning of June. We'll be back at the beginning of June, ready to rock some more shows for you. So, but I did have some time and thought I would jump on here and say hello to you guys. So you guys are awesome. Have a great rest of your Monday. Stay safe out there. And yeah, I will talk to you guys soon. Alrighty. Oh, and if you want to follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, there are all my links right there. Right there. All my links are in the description. Check them out until your heart's content. And what do I always say? When your heart is content, check them out again and again and again and again.